A backslash $10,000 fine for a rotting cabin is how my life got flipped upside down and, honestly, how I ended up dismantling an entire HOA empire. I'm not exaggerating. Rebecca Blackwood herself, decked out in her power suit and clutching that clipboard like it was a weapon, stormed onto my property one Tuesday morning, waving Bylaw 17.3. Two in my face and demanding I demolish my grandfather's 100-year-old cabin within 30 days. The crazy part? That old cabin was hiding secrets worth more than her whole HOA ever dreamed. And she had no idea what she was stepping into because, see, the cease and desist letter she slapped on my door wasn't just another piece of legal junk. It came stamped from the highest office in the state. Not your average HOA fight. But before I get ahead of myself, let me set the scene because where I live, everyone's got an HOA horror story, but I'd bet good money no one's ended quite like mine. So there I was, out on the porch, just about to pour my morning coffee when Tom Henderson, my neighbor, 62 years old, ex-Army Ranger, strolled by and whistled low. Beautiful work there, Morrison. Reminds me of that outpost we built in Kandahar. Simple, but solid as a rock. And let me tell you, that meant something coming from a guy like Tom. We shared our usual 8:30 coffee ritual, some habits. You just don't break, even out in the sticks. But Tom, always sharp, didn't waste time. Daniel, about the HOA. Are you sure you've got permission for all this? I looked at him sideways. Tom, my family's owned this land since 1952. My granddad saved the governor's son during the war. We have a covenant. They can't touch this place. But Tom's face went all serious. Rebecca's different. Last 3 years, she's forced out 8 families. Every time, it's the same game. Slam them with fines till they go bankrupt. Then their properties get snapped up. And funny thing, every one of them sits on prime land. Something in my auditor's brain started ticking. Patterns, always patterns. Tell me about these families, I asked. Tom leaned in, almost whispering. Jeffersons, Garcias, Coopers, all gone. Their places got bought by a mess of different companies, but something always fell off. 2 days later, right on schedule, the purr of a Mercedes out front. Black S-Class, plates reading CLTRFAK. Rebecca herself stepped out, crimson suit, handbag probably worth more than my whole place, blonde hair like a golden helmet. She rang the bell. Mr. Morrison, she said, her voice sharp as a razor. I'm here to deliver your violation notice. Bylaw 17.3.2, subsections C through Q. I flipped through the papers. Everything from unapproved wood tones to lack of an IoT-enabled entry system. Ridiculous. These are for suburban houses, I told her, not rural cabins with special covenants. She cut me off, eyes glinting. That covenant expired when the HOA expanded. Your absence was taken as consent. That's democracy, Mr. Morrison. She smirked. Oh, and I hear you're ex-Price Waterhouse Coopers. I hope you're not difficult. We handle difficult people. That little slip, that this land should have never been. Never mind, set my instincts on fire. There was more going on here. That night, I turned my living room into an audit war room. Laptop open. Whiteboard crammed with sticky notes. Lines connecting the names Tom had mentioned. Every property, every sale, all bought by LLCs. Mountain Holdings, Pine Investments, Valley Properties. And every single one registered to WLW Legal Services. William Webb, Rebecca's ex-husband. Money moved from these shell companies to accounts in the Caymans. $1.6 million siphoned from Pine Valley. Classic money laundering. It was like staring at a rerun of the Techron Industries case, the one that drove me out of the corporate world. But this was way, way bigger. Suddenly, an email landed in my inbox. HOA violations, subject line. I opened it, expecting the usual threats. But my stomach dropped. There were scans of my own Price Waterhouse Coopers records, therapy notes, even my father's suicide report. We have everything, Morrison. The Techron cover-up, your father's weakness, your therapy. Leave, or everyone learns why you quit. My hand shook. This wasn't HOA stuff anymore. Someone had hacked classified files. My phone rang. Tom, urgent. Rebecca just met with some men in black SUVs at the old warehouse. This is like stuff I saw in Afghanistan, and it never ends well. That night, I stared at the ceiling, replaying my dad's death, that endless cycle of guilt. Then I made a decision. Enough hiding. I called Lisa Brown, my old law school friend, now a hotshot lawyer in Denver. I need help, and fast. Lisa welcomed me, sharp as ever. Daniel, you look terrible. What's wrong? I unloaded everything. She was pale when I finished. This is criminal. We go to the police. I shook my head. First, we map the network. Remember forensic accounting 401? Follow the money. We dug deep. LLCs, shell companies, all roads led back to Rebecca, William Webb, and something called Citadel Group. This was organized crime. Then came the twist, Bradley Stevens. Deputy on the HOA board called me desperate. We met in a dingy coffee shop, his hands shaking. Rebecca makes me fabricate violations, but I've kept copies of everything. He slid me a USB. Inside, audio files, emails, doctored photos. I played one, Rebecca's voice. Morrison has the 1952 covenant. I don't care. Create violations. 17.3.2 is flexible if you word it right. Chilling. Worse were emails with someone called VR. Morrison property critical for phase 2. Cannot delay past second quarter. He's an ex-auditor. Dangerous. Then escalate. Land must be cleared by June. Suddenly, attacks escalated. My truck's tires were slashed, cabin windows smashed, spray paint. Leave or burn. Tom saw it all. 3 masked men in a black van. This is organized crime, he said. Jaw set. We need real backup. I have Ranger contacts. Lisa's office was threatened. Drop the case or lose all Pine Valley contracts. She cursed a blue streak. Screw him. I'm all in. That night, we gathered, me, Lisa, Tom, piecing together money laundering, fabricated violations, and the mysterious VR. Vincent Russo, a mobster specializing in property grabs. Bradley called again, panicked. Emergency board meeting. They're filing criminal charges against you. Fake embezzlement. Your old boss is testifying. Lisa and I were stunned. That was impossible. But then, Citadel Group, Rebecca's voice, and everything clicked. This was bigger than Pine Valley. And then, the real bombshell, Susan Webb, William's wife, showed up with boxes of documents. He's been bragging about the Morrison deal and cheating on me with Rebecca. Use this, destroy them both. Inside, evidence tying Rebecca, Webb, Russo, and Citadel to everything. Financial records. Meeting minutes, a file labeled Project Homestead, Morrison Gold. There it was, my grandfather had hidden a gold mine under the cabin, the real reason for all this chaos. At an emergency meeting with Governor Torres and Professor Williams, we laid out the evidence. This is the RICO case of the century, Torres growled. We go public, emergency town hall now. That night, the place was packed. Residents howled at Rebecca. I connected my laptop to the projector. Slides showing doctored photos, the money trail, audio of Rebecca ordering fake violations. The crowd turned. Where's your lawyer, Rebecca? Lisa shouted. Rebecca's perfect hair was coming undone. And then the doors blew open. Vincent Russo and his goons, guns under their jackets. He smiled coldly. Evening, folks. Morrison, you're sitting on something that doesn't belong to you. Your grandfather was a thief. He flicked the projector to his presentation. Military records. Pictures of my grandfather and Lieutenant Lawson in a cave. Russo spun the story. My grandfather betrayed Lawson, kept the gold. The crowd wavered, unsure. That's when Bradley stood up, pale but defiant. I know the truth. Lawson tried to sell the cave to the enemy. Morrison defended himself. Russo's men moved fast. Bradley was shot. Chaos erupted. Tom shielded people. I pressed my hands to Bradley's wound. Russo delivered his ultimatum. Sign the land over in 24 hours or more blood. After the ambulance took Bradley, Tom returned with grim news. Russo's men were everywhere, watching the whole town. Lisa, frantic, got word. The feds wouldn't help. Agent Brown had blocked state action, claiming a federal investigation. We were on our own. Then came a text from Richard Lawson. Meet me. Alone. The next morning, at the abandoned Broadmoor Hotel. Lawson laid it all out. His father discovered the gold. My grandfather stole it. The Lawsons lived in poverty. But as I scanned his documents, something was off. The timelines didn't add up. Here's my offer, Lawson said. $5 million and you walk? I burned Pine Valley to the ground. Driving home, Tom called Bradley would make it. But then a twist. Hospital records proved Lawson Sr. was poisoned, not killed in battle, by a lawyer named Beaumont, representing the mining company my grandfather fought. Lisa's research tied it all together. Beaumont's family became Webb's law firm. William Webb, Rebecca, Lawson, Russo. They'd all inherited the secret and used Rebecca as their pawn. I called Rebecca, knowing she was being blackmailed with her daughters. We met at a diner. She confessed. She'd started recording evidence, terrified for her kids. Lisa realized the federal seizure plan for the next day would let Lawson steal the gold under the guise of national security. But hidden in the original 1952 covenant was a clause. If the land was threatened by foreign takeover, the rights automatically transferred to the Department of Defense, with the Morrisons as permanent stewards. The next morning, federal agents in tactical gear surrounded my cabin, but the National Guard blocked them. Governor Torres strode out, arrest warrant in hand for Agent Brown. On speakerphone, Lawson demanded progress, but now the world was watching. SWAT teams hit Citadel Tower, catching Lawson and the buyers mid-auction. All on live TV. The fallout was spectacular. Judges, agents, HOA board members across 10 states arrested. Rebecca testified, apologizing to every family she'd wronged. Husu, Webby, Lawson all sentenced. Governor Torres declared the gold would fund schools and hospitals, and the Morrison Foundation would protect the land. Our fight inspired the Morrison Act, giving real protections to homeowners everywhere. And me? I stayed in that little cabin, the old sign still hanging out front. Integrity is the only gold that mattered. Friends stopped by Tom, Lisa, Bradley, and his newborn son. The real treasure wasn't gold under my feet. It was knowing people stood up together against corruption. So what did we learn? Maybe nothing, maybe everything. But you gotta admit, it was one hell of a ride. Tell me, where do you stand on justice, community, and standing up to power? Drop a comment and let's hear your take.